for taking the appropriate action if you do not want to be included in this recorded information session. All remarks are on the record and for attribution. Since our last update on July 28th, Reclamation has continued to implement the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and invest in our infrastructure to benefit the American public for the next generation. These information sessions are designed to update you on our progress and address your questions. We plan on addressing as many questions as possible during the question and answer period. Updated information about Reclamation's implementation of the law is always available at usbr.gov.gov/bill, BIL. And you may also email your questions or comments to usbr.bill@usbr.gov, and we'll work to address your questions. We will remain committed to transparency throughout this process and appreciate your support of this historic opportunity to improve our nation's water infrastructure. I am honored to welcome the 24th Commissioner of the Bureau of Reclamation, Camille Kalimlim-Tootin, for brief opening remarks. Commissioner.
Thank you, Rob, and good morning to all of you today. I'm so pleased to be joining you on the week before we celebrate the one-year anniversary of the President Biden signing into law the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. Let me give you a preview. I know our team's going to go into this, but let me give you a preview of what Reclamation has done in the last 12 months. But I want to first start by thanking our amazing team. We call them our PMIT team, who is led by our co-leads, Matt Mossieri and Beth Hughes-Brown. But you'll also be able to meet a lot of our other folks who are on the line as well. Heidi Murrow, who's helping us get out all of these funding to all of you. Dean Maroney and his Water Smart team, who has doubled their workload in this 12 months that we've been able to be together. We also have our Chief Engineer's Office represented. Our HR team was significant in playing a role. And certainly you heard from Rob Manning and our Public Affairs team, who really helped us to find a way to be efficient and effective in communicating with you what we're doing with the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. So in the last 12 months, we have been able to assign and obligate, for the most part, $1.3 billion of funding. To put that in context, Reclamation is a $1.5 billion organization from our annual appropriations every year. So in a span of 10 months, we allocated double our budget to get it out to you. And I think that shows the importance of this funding and us being able to get out those resources where it's needed most. We were able to release $309 million for water recycling, more than has been allocated for that program in a significant amount of time. But what that really means, especially in California, that's $268 million in California for 168,000 homes every year. We embarked on the largest dam safety project in the history of our organization at BF-CISC, a $100 million investment to make sure that we're dealing with the drought, but also dealing with earthquakes and that threat of earthquakes to our system. And if you haven't checked out our Instagram accounts, you'll see that our favorite truck color is yellow, and we've got a lot of them out at CISC right now. We've also spent significant amount of money on rural water projects. I was able to meet with the Assiniboine and Sioux Dry Prairie folks last week, in which this funding will help to complete that rural water project. They brought me a picture of a bathtub that a mother of two under two had, the difference of the water that they received before they had water from the rural water project and the clean water in their bathtub now. And so as we're going through this, as we're making these investments all across the West, including half of that money in the Colorado River Basin states alone, it really does talk to not just concrete or rebar, but for the people that we're helping to serve and the partners that we have in you to be able to be effective with this funding. So as we embark on this next year, we look to celebrate what we've done this year, but stay tuned for the amazing work that we have in store for us together into the future that our team will be able to walk through today. On a final note, tomorrow is Veterans Day. And one of the proudest facts that I have the privilege of leading this organization, this 6,000 people organization, is a third of our workforce are veterans. So to all of the Reclamation veterans, happy Veterans Day, and to the folks out there who have also served our country, happy Veterans Day to you too. So thank you very much for joining us today. I look forward to our continued partnership and engagement and look forward to a great year next year together. And in the meantime, let it snow. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tootin. At this time, I am privileged to introduce Reclamation's Assistant Director for Program and Budget, Beth Hughes Brown, and our Assistant Deputy Commissioner for Operations, Matt Masieri, to lead us through today's updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Commissioner. I am, as mentioned, Matt Masieri, Assistant Deputy Commissioner for Operations, and together with Beth Hughes Brown, we co-lead implementation of the Department of the Reclamation's Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. We're going to go through some slides today, and then we're going to hand off for some subject matter specific slides to some co-presenters on here. Before I hand off to let the co-presenters introduce themselves, Beth Hughes Brown, do you want to turn your camera on and just say hello? And then we'll hand off to Dean Maroney for self-introduction.
Hello. And so I just want to thank Matt for a great partnership. We have been working very closely together and have not, well, okay, 2 fights, very small fights, but we've worked pretty seamlessly. And the group that you'll be hearing from today and the people that they work with as well, amazing cooperation from a fabulous group. Dean Maroney, thank you for coming on camera. Heidi Morrow and Brian Rainey are some of our folks that are just absolutely amazing, and their workload has been astronomical, and they've been pleasant. So we're delighted to work with these folks. They're great. Thanks, Matt.
Ditto to all of that. Thanks, Beth. So okay, we're going to go through some slides, and we're going to toggle over to Dean Maroney, Brian Rainey, and during some of these slides, and Heidi Morrow during some of them. Dean, Brian, and Heidi, do you want to turn your camera on and say hello before we start into the slides?
Sure. I'll start out. This is Dean Maroney. I'm the manager of the Water Resources and Planning Office for the Bureau of Reclamation, and we coordinate various water smart activities.
Heidi?
Good morning. My name is Heidi Morrow. I'm the director of the Mission Support Organization, and my group is responsible for financial assistance awards and contract awards and oversight. Thank you.
And I thought I saw Brian on for a sec. But Brian,
I am on. Yeah, I'm on, Matt. Yeah, I'm Brian Rainey. I'm the Human Capital Officer for the Bureau. I work directly with our 6 Human Resources Officers to do the recruitments for these and other positions that are out there for Bureau.
Thank you, Brian, Heidi, and Dean. And Rob, should I hand back to you for some quick logistics on the questions and answer before we go into the slides?
You know what? You can go ahead and proceed with the slides, and then I'll go over the mechanics for the Q&A when you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again, everyone, for your attention on this. We've got about just over a dozen slides here, and we'll go through them and hand off to one another as we get to certain specific topics. So overview for today, we're just going to cover what we've talked about, what we've done since we last talked in the summer. We've come out with a lot of new spend plans, a lot of new funding opportunities. There's awards that have been rolling out all year long, August, September, October, right up through this week. We've also produced some new criteria for some of the new programs that were authorized and appropriated in the BIL or in legislation immediately prior to the BIL. We've got some new information on the BIL webpage. Hope everyone is making regular use of that. It's getting almost daily updates. And then we've had some BOR and DOI leadership visits to some of the BIL projects around the West, and those will continue. Prior sessions like today's are also viewable online. So that web address that Rob mentioned is reprinted at the end of this presentation. Definitely use that if you're interested in what we've said previously. Next slide, please. So this is a version of a table. It's on the website. You've seen it before. Just before we get too far into it, we wanted to just recap. We've got a little over a dozen program areas that are funded by the BIL. This table gives you basically the section number, how much money Congress appropriated out of our total, which was $8.3 billion over 5 years. You can see some of the categories are bigger than others. And then the far right category or far right columns, we talk about who are the recipients of these monies, how are we allocating it, and what is the awarding process. So that slide and this presentation will be on our website along with the video from today's presentation. Next slide, please. So implementation backdrop. What's going on as we implement the BIL? As all of you know, and especially those of you on the phone from out west, persistent drought across much of the West, particularly acute in certain basins in places like Oregon, California, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Texas that we are implementing the BIL around. The reason we like to point that out is when we go to the next slide, which I don't want to go to yet, we have a depiction of where the awards are going. And there's a really good alignment between our BIL allocations and where communities are dealing with persistent drought. So we are trying to align our funding as much as possible with needs, and we are following our strategic objectives that we've talked about in previous presentations of encouraging resilience to drought, equity, modernizing our infrastructure, and generating reliable water supplies. Stakeholder participation in our implementation of BIL is key because so much of BIL, about 2/3 of what the funding that we're putting out relies on some kind of application process and sort of crowdsourcing the project proposals. So your participation in today's event and your participation in our funding opportunities is really essential for helping make BIL successful and helping get the money out to where Congress intended it to go. With that, I'm going to hand off to Beth Hughes Brown to walk us through the next few slides. Beth?
Thank you. Before we go to the next slide, can you just go back for 1 second to the previous one? If you take a look at where those major drought areas are in the United States, in the Western United States primarily, then go to the next slide, please. See that that bubble table that you have on the right there? They largely mirror where those drought areas are. That is certainly something that we would like to do, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it. So what you see there is where those projects that have received BIL funding so far are located. So among our accomplishments, we are now at 60 Water Smart grants that have been announced for a total of $362 million. 6 water storage and conveyance projects announced to a total of $210 million. 6 rural water projects announced for a total of $420 million. I'm going to say a little bit more about some of these things in just a second. And you already heard about the dam safety project that is the largest one that we've done ever, the largest modification that we've done ever for reclamation. And Colorado River Endangered Species Program awards. We just announced the second tranche of them just this last, actually 2 days ago, I believe. So each of these are found on our website. The way we do allocations of projects, each of these are separate programs, and they all do have separate processes to announce projects. When we do our first plan for each of the new fiscal years, called a spend plan, we start at the program level, and of course there are 12 major programs and 4 sub-programs in the BIL. So we announce where we're going to be spending the funding at the program level, and every time we do one of these announcements, we do put an announcement on our webpage, and we also, for the large ones, we also do what we call an addendum, where we update that original spend plan every time we allocate it down to the project level. So there's a lot of information on that webpage, and it is continually updated, as Matt referred to. Can you go to the next one, please? So this is one of our biggest and newest programs, Aging Infrastructure. And that's one of those two fights that Matt and I had. He calls it XM, I call it aging infrastructure. You say potato, I say potato. But we've allocated 242 million in fiscal 22 down to the project level, and using a new bunch of criteria that are germane to just that aging infrastructure program that were developed very collaboratively with a lot of people that work for Reclamation. And we are planning to allocate 649 million for it in this next fiscal year. And we've begun that process. We've opened up that process for the applications that are now open between now and December 1st. You can hear more about that in a few minutes. We'll talk more about that to make sure that nobody misses that and knows more about what they need to do to get on board if that is their goal. So these are some major accomplishments. And as the commissioner said in the beginning, this is roughly double our budget. There's a lot of people, once again, that work on this. You can see all those grants going out the door, all those contracts that have to be negotiated, all those people that have to be hired to make those things happen, all of those projects that have to be evaluated very carefully and tracked very carefully. There's a lot of people working very hard, and we're very grateful for that. Next slide, please. What you're looking at there is spend plans. Now, it's a lot of information. If you want to see it a little bit better, you can go to our website. There's a tab on our website, usbr.gov/BIL, that says spend plans. It has all of this information. What you're seeing here is the first column, the first numbers column, is what was authorized for each of these programs. The next column you see is what was allocated at the program level for fiscal 22. And as pointed out, we've spent 1.3 billion approximately of that 1.66 billion originally planned. And for fiscal 23, you see the next column there. So you can see that the program level the amounts that are in the program level have changed. In that first year, largely we put money where we knew we had the capability, ongoing programs, for example, Water Smart we've discussed, although there are a couple of new programs under Water Smart. But then in fiscal 23, the money is allocated more across the board because we have more programs that are up and running and capable of handling more funding. They've done the hiring, they've got some of the grants people in place, and so on. And of course, they've got the criteria and the underpinnings of the program itself in place. So we've made a lot of progress, and that's what this spend plan represents. And as I said, once again, on our webpage, every time we make a change, every time we allocate one of these amounts from the program level down to the project level, there's an update on our webpage. Next slide and next person, that will be, I believe, that's going to be back to Matt. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. And so, yeah, next slide, we're moving forward into FY23. We're about a little over a month into the fiscal 2023 federal fiscal year. Reason we point that out is we're going to be moving into the next round of funding opportunities. We've got one that just started for the small storage program. That's section 40903 of the BIL, new program that we didn't have before BIL, open now through December 9th. We got a total of 100 million. So this first funding opportunity, we allocated 20 to that, but there's more coming behind that. So kind of don't blink, because all year long, just as happened in 2022, in the 23 fiscal year, funding opportunities will keep rolling out every other month or so. Something new will be coming out. So please sign up for notifications on our website. In addition to funding opportunities, which we're glad to answer questions on, and Dean Maroney is great at that. Well, I'm going to hand off to him on the next slide. We've also got, spend plans, as Beth mentioned. She showed you the reference to the ones that are already out. We're going to be producing more of those because there's a difference. Some of BIL is implemented pursuant to applications. Others leave the discretion to the reclamation, and we publish our intentions via those spend plans. So those will keep rolling out all year long too in the dozen-plus program areas. We've also got other new programs like the Aquatic Ecosystem Restoration Program, And then the large scale water recycling program that was also new in BIL section 40905. So we've started producing some of the guidance for that, and following close behind it will be funding opportunities. So for that, I will hand off to Dean Maroney to get into a little bit more detail on that. And after Dean, Brian Rainey will talk about some of our human capital issues. Take it away, Dean.
Thanks, Matt. So yes, just to say a little bit more about large-scale water recycling. This is a new program that Reclamation is implementing based on new authority that was included in the BIL statute. Large-scale water recycling projects are defined as projects over $500 million in total project costs. And so we've been taking steps to implement the program, and something that we've done very recently, last week, is that we've posted temporary program guidance on Reclamation's website, the Reclamation manual, part of Reclamation's website. And the guidance sets out the requirements for project sponsors to follow as they are developing new projects. There will be an opportunity for comment as we work on permanent program guidance in the coming months. One other thing that we've done just very recently is that we've established a website for this new program, and we're going to be using that as a way of posting updates on plans for the program, etc. In December, we are expecting to be able to post a funding opportunity open for the planning and design of water reuse projects and desalination projects, including large-scale projects, but it will also be open for planning and design of projects that would fit within Reclamation's existing water reuse program that is referred to as the Title 16 program and the desalination program. Then the plan is that in the spring, we will have another funding opportunity focused on planning, design, and construction of large-scale projects. So I will turn it over to Brian.
Thanks, Dean. I'm Brian Rainey, Human Capital Officer, as we said earlier, and as the slide says, we have hired 141 individuals into BIL specific positions. And from those 141, the top 5 of those job series that we're hiring are contract specialists, human resource specialists, grants management specialists, civil engineers, and project managers. But there's a variety of job series we're hiring for. And we continue to work aggressively to recruit for those positions that are BIL necessary and as identified by all the managers. So the projections are always changing. Our main avenue for recruitment is on USA Jobs. And what we do on that is we tag those positions as BIL positions. And it's the first thing anybody sees when they open up USA Jobs. So just for information, if you go in there now, there's 184 positions that are tagged as BIL. And of those 184, 42 are Reclamation. So that concludes mine unless there's any questions. And I will turn it over to Heidi.
Thank you, Brian. Good morning. It's good to talk with you today. Although Buy America is not applicable to tribes at this time because the consultation process has not been completed, I wanted to share some information today with you about Buy America and waivers in the event that it does become applicable. So currently, the Department of Interior does have a general applicability waiver to allow us to get used to and understand the requirements of Buy America, and that expires on January 12th of 2023. So on January 13th of 2023, those grant agreements that do have Buy America provisions in them will have to comply. And if there is a requirement or a need for a waiver for from Buy American after January 12th, 2023, I would recommend starting on that now if it does become applicable for you as a tribe. We at Reclamation are evaluating program-wide waivers along with the Department of Interior in the areas for drought, some small grants, and de minimis infrastructure or small amount of infrastructure, and some metering equipment that are used throughout some of our projects that we give grants for. If and when the Buy America provision does become applicable for tribes, and if you are interested and do need a waiver, it is a time-intensive process, so please start early on that waiver, and we are always here to help for that. And your first point of contact is your grant officer technical representative out in the area and field offices, and they have some resources to help out with the grant Buy America waiver and contacts throughout Reclamation to help with that. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Heidi. So anyone in the Colorado River Basin, don't have to tell them, drought has been ever present and top of mind for everyone in the 7 basin states, Colorado River. But even if you're just in natural resources generally, as you are, if you're on this call, you can't ignore the prevalence of Colorado River drought coverage. It's been on the cover of the New York Times. It is everywhere because the situation is extremely serious on the Colorado River. So we keep track of basically lots of different figures. Beth and her staff are excellent at slicing and dicing statistics, and we are keeping track of the basin monies. You heard the commissioner mentioned in her opening remarks that just about half of our BIL monies to date have gone to some kind of project in the Colorado River Basin, and that's indicative of the need there, as well as just the capability to expend funds. And so, in addition to what's been out the door so far, we have additional resources to the Colorado River Basin going through our implementation of the Inflation Reduction Act. And that funding opportunity was announced on October 12th. That's outside the scope of this call, but since we're mentioning the Colorado River Basin, didn't want to exclude mention of that. In addition to the actions to date, the allocations on the first bullet, the funding opportunity that's open, that was announced on October 12th, third bullet, we still have more allocating to do in the Colorado River Basin. So stay tuned. There will be more BIL allocations specific to the Colorado River Basin, and there will be more funding opportunities specific to the Colorado River Basin. So stay tuned for more. Just this week, we announced Colorado River Basin Endangered Species Program announcement. I think that was yesterday. So there's a constant tempo. With that, I'm going to turn over the next slide back to Beth.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is something that I encourage you to go online and bookmark for yourself. These are some of the announcements that we've made having to do with projects, the project level, when we allocate things from the program to the project level, some of the exciting things that we're doing with taxpayer money, for which we're so grateful. And so this is where you can find out. If you look down the first column there and you're looking at dates, you can see that these things are rolling out at a fairly repetitive rate, and they're rolling, but there's a lot of them. This money is continuing to go out the door. It is it takes time, and it takes some of the same people to work on each and every one of these things. The same people work on public affairs, finance and budget, acquisitions, grants, deciding which projects fit the criteria, and so on. So we have to balance human resources, but there are things moving out the door very quickly, and we're very pleased with that. But please go to that site that is noted on the right, which is usbr.gov/BIL, to bookmark this so that you can stay up to date on what it is that's going out the door using taxpayer money. I guess that's kind of my whole point on that one. I don't know that I have many more points on that one, but please make sure that you're paying attention to that. It's where you get the information. There's lots of other information there as well. And that plus a couple of the other sites to which it links give you everything you need to know. So I do want to take this opportunity to thank Public Affairs, who are responsible for this page, and all it takes to make it happen. So thank you.
we've all got so much information coming at us. We tried to boil down the BIL related information that is of interest for you folks that are interested in this funding. So keep an eye on that page, and we can go to the next slide, and we'll be just about done with our presentation. So last slide, closing comments. Sometimes I've heard folks say when the BIL money arrives, and you've seen this slide before if you've been on any of these presentations. When the BIL money arrives is now. It's happening now. The funding opportunities are happening now. Internal formulation is happening now. Cooperative agreements and grant agreements, financial assistance is moving out the door now. So please stay with us on this journey as we continue to implement. We're only 1 year in, but we have a lot more to go and a lot more funding to allocate, a lot more great projects to fund. And we anticipate making, as Commissioner mentioned, generational improvements in the portfolio of Western Water, both for our own infrastructure as well as the infrastructure owned by our tribal partners and our water district, water and power delivery districts. So please stay with us. These funding opportunities will keep rolling out. That tempo that you saw on the last slide that Beth walked through will continue. There's going to continue to, that list will grow. So the best thing about BIL is it's crowdsourced. It's a partnership with you, our tribal partners, with our water district partners. We are crowdsourcing all of it, and this collaboration and the ability to focus on the performance and merit of these projects is what will be the biggest part of the success of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. So thank you to everyone for riding with us on that. That concludes our presentation. We can go to the next slide, and I'll hand it back to Rob Manning for any questions and answers from this audience. Thanks, Rob.
Okay, thank you. Many thanks to all of our presenters. And yes, Matt and Beth are truly a dynamic duo, and we're so fortunate to have their leadership. And you met some of the talented professionals that are working hard every single day. So thanks to all. At this time, we will address your questions. Please raise your hand. As a reminder, please raise your hand using the hand icon at the top of the screen and state your name and affiliation when asking a question. The chat is open for this session, and we encourage you to submit questions by sending an email to usbr.bill@usbr.gov. And we're committed to addressing as many questions as we can today during this limited time, and we hope it's helpful. With that, let's go to your questions. Peter, who do we have first?
We're still waiting for questions to come in. If you've dialed in on the phone today, you can hit *5, and that will raise your hand to ask a question. We do have one question. Robin, please unmute and turn your camera on. Please share your name and affiliation.
Thank you, Robin.
Is working. This is Robin, interpreter. I am Water Rights Counsel for the Yavapai Apache Nation and Pasquayaqui tribe here in Arizona. Can you give us any status update on the situation with the potential waiver of the cost share requirement under WaterSmart or any of the other grant funding opportunities that you have out there? As I know you've heard before, the tribes really have a difficulty with meeting those cost share requirements, particularly when they can't be met with another federal funding source for the cost share, such as like BIA funding or some other funding. Can you give us any updates on that with regard to some of your reclamation programs?
Sure, I can give a start of that, Robin, and then I'll look to Dean Maroney to fill in blanks that I may overlook. So Reclamation's programs are very statutorily prescriptive when it comes to financial assistance. We have cost shares that are in statute, but there are other programs like the Native American Affairs Technical Assistance Program where there isn't a statutory obligation for a cost share. Good thing is we have a lot of funding that we're able to move around to these programs. The program that Jeff runs, Technical Assistance, sometimes tribes do cost share the projects that we fund with them, but that's not required. It's just to leverage, obviously, the federal funding with tribal funding and make bigger investments. With respect to WaterSmart, which is our most common, best known financial assistance program, that program, for the most part, also has statutorily prescribed cost shares in it. But Dean knows the particulars better than I do and knows about the different need analyses that are involved in that financial assistance. So, Dean, would you like to take the rest of that question?
Yeah, And Matt, just to echo what you said, that is the situation for most of the authorities that water smart funding opportunities are based on. It's that the statute requires cost share and doesn't allow for a cost share waiver mechanism. So, we recognize that cost share can definitely be a limiting factor or a challenge. But that is sort of what we're up against for those programs. I don't know if Jeff, if there's anything that you would add to that from the technical assistance side.
Sure, thanks, Dean. So we do have a technical assistance program that does not require cost share, and our job opportunity announcement, or NOFO, sorry, notice of funding opportunity announcement, is out, and it closes, I think it's December 12th, somewhere around mid-December, and I'll put the link to that in the chat on grants.gov. No cost share is required, and the one other thing I'll mention too is we're not getting bill related funding. It's not bipartisan infrastructure law funding. It's just annual appropriations. Thanks, Dean.
So my apologies.
$400,000 project under the NOFO for the Native American Affairs Technical Assistance. It looks like there's a $400,000 limit on that for the opportunity.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
You're correct.
Okay.
Yes, 400,000 is the limit for that grant opportunity. And sorry, Beth, if we talked.
No, fine. I was just going to apologize to you and to our stakeholders here that we did not introduce you. This is Jeff Morris, who is the director of our Indian Affairs office, our Native American Affairs office. Sorry, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Are there any other questions? We're here to answer answer any questions that you may have. Debbie Ho, please unmute yourself and turn your camera on and state your name and affiliation.
Hi there, this is Debbie Ho on behalf of the San Carlos Apache tribe in Arizona. Thank you for holding this this session, very helpful. Thank you for flagging docs. I had a question about, let's see, it's the FY23 Reclamation BIL spend plan in the area of the water storage, groundwater storage, conveyance projects. And the, looking at the chart, it says for FY23, looking at 95 million. And then, after FY23, the remainder is 745 million. And looking at the text, it talks about, I guess, an internal formulation process. And I just wanted to hear more about, I guess, next steps for Reclamation on, I guess, approach, outreach to tribes, for, FY23 and thereafter, as Reclamation works on its internal formulation process. Thank you.
Great question. So in that first year, when we, so FY22, a lot of our programs had been in existence for a long time. A lot of the other ones were new. The programs that had been in existence for a long time or had otherwise had the capability, fancy technical term meaning they were able to spend it, able to get it out the door. They had the contracts available, they had the clients available, etc. They had everything in place. They had the criteria ready. In other words, the program was up and running and they had the capability to spend the money. They got more money in that first year. So in that second year, it's more, everybody else had the capability. Some of those new programs were in place and they would have some capability. That's why those numbers change from time to time. Matt referred earlier to legislative requirements, things that we are allowed to spend money, authorized to spend money on. And so that has to do with that internal process. Right now, we're in the process for fiscal 23 of casting a wide net before we do evaluating the projects that are proposed. So if you have something that you'd like to propose, please make sure your area office gets that information to the regional office. There are strict prohibitions on what we can spend it on and what we can't spend it on, but we're certainly interested in considering every option. So please get that information to the area office closest to you. Does that answer your question?
It does, and I think Matt, many on this call are familiar with San Carlos water delivery needs. So thank you for all that Reclamation is doing.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay.
Thanks, Debbie.
Again, just a reminder, please raise your hand using the hand icon at the top of the screen under the Reactions tab. You'll see that there. And then we also have a very mature list of frequently asked questions since we've conducted an update now every quarter since it was signed into law. The Bipartisan Infrastructure was signed on 15 November of last year. So, and we'll update after today's discussion as well. Do we have any hands raised now, Peter?
No questions at this time.
Okay. We have an open chat. We have email.
I did put the website and email into the chat.
Perfect. And it's also on the slide there. Okay, we'll stand by. Give it a few more here. This is your time, no rush for us.
Could I?
Okay, Debbie has another question. Go ahead, Debbie.
Well, given that there haven't been other questions, I wanted to find out more about the White House Tribal Nations Conference to see if, and I know y'all are so busy planning for the conference, and we're just so glad that it can be in person this year as opposed to last year, and we're just glad that President Biden, Interior Department, all the other agencies are committed to the conference. But I wanted to see if Reclamation is planning any sort of consultations or listening sessions or breakouts when tribal leaders are in DC that week. And we know that there's one representative for the conference, but many tribes will be bringing delegations to DC that week. And with so much going on with Reclamation and the fantastic programs and the funding, just wanted to see if there's anything in the works that week. Thank you.
Sure. So I'm not sure. I don't have a good answer to your question, but I'm going to find out. And I will send you an email and let you know what our involvement and participation is going to be. And you're referring to the Tribal Nations Summit. Is that what you're referring to?
The White House Tribal Nations Conference. That's
okay.
November 30th, December 1st. And that's when
I will find out.
Tribal leaders.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. And a lot of tribes tribal leaders have not been in DC since COVID started. And so, tribal leaders, a large number of tribal leaders will be in town and will be bringing delegations. And, what Reclamation is working on is just so critical, especially, it's everywhere, but especially out west. So just was wondering. Thank you.
Sure. And I know the department is working on a lot of stuff getting ready for that conference. But I'll get you a better answer. I'll find a better answer for you.
Okay. Because they'll all be at Interior Department in the auditorium in your building.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Rob, I
Well,
have kind of
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Beth.
I have kind of an open-ended question for the folks that are on this call, especially those of you who have attended these sessions before. Is this helpful? Are these sessions helpful to you? Are we getting the right information to you? Are you feeling like we're being responsive? Thumbs up if you feel good about it is fine. Or if anybody has any comments, we'd love to hear that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are trying to get better for sure.
And you can find the thumbs up under the reactions tab.
Okay. Any more questions or comments before we close? Okay.
Thank you,
We'll
Debbie.
certainly go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, we were getting some comments in.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, someone wanted to know if how many funding awards have gone to tribes, and Matt, do you have that off the top of your head?
Sure. If you're speaking strictly on WaterSmart, in FY22, there have been two, I think Idaho and Utah. If you're speaking generally on the BIL program, the tribal benefit is kind of spread across the program. For example, if we're making improvements to a project that serves tribes as well as non-tribal communities, rural water projects are a best example of that, where you have significant number of tribal beneficiaries. Those, I would say, I think at least 2 or 3 of the rural water projects that we've funded this year have significant tribal beneficiaries. So the answer, Josh, is a little bit dispersed. Let me see if Dean or Ava or Jeff would like to maybe add some resolution to that. But in general, these programs are open to tribes that we've been talking about. And so the awards will start to accumulate, but it's kind of dispersed. A rural water project, for example, compared to a WaterSmart award. Dean or Jeff, add or subtract?
I guess I could just add that there are several categories of WaterSmart funding for which, Reclamation is right in the middle of the competitive selection process. So I think in the next couple of months in particular, there are going to be a lot of new projects selected and announced. So there will be more coming, including, some that are coming up very soon are drought resiliency projects and also small scale water efficiency projects. We're expecting announcements on both of those in the next couple of months.
Thank you, Dean. And thanks to all of you for your questions and comments. Do we have any other hands raised, Peter?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. We'll go ahead and conclude, but you can always contact us. And thank you for all of our presenters today as well. We're dedicated to transparency throughout this process. And as we stated, we've conducted updates each quarter since the law was signed on 15 November 2021. So we'll continue to do that. We'll conduct another update during second quarter between January and March of next year, and encourage you to go to usbr.gov/bill for updates. And we certainly look forward to remaining engaged with you as we remain transparent throughout this implementation process. I'm going to shift gears just for a little bit, just for awareness. As many of you know, Reclamation received $4.6 billion in the Inflation Reduction Act. You met Jeff Morris. He's our program manager for the Native American and International Affairs. Jeff, if you could come on camera one more time and just wave to us on here. There we go. Thank you, Jeff. And we're planning to conduct a tribal consultation for the Inflation Reduction Act early next year. Tribes will soon receive a Dear Tribal letter, Dear Tribal Leader letter, and it will be posted on Reclamation's tribal consultation website, which is usbr.gov/native/tribal_consultation. And we'll put that in the chat here. More to follow as planning matures, but we thank you in advance for your support. And again, we remain transparent and we are open to your feedback and comments throughout this process. And that's the only way we can get better. So thank you so much. I think Beth said it best there. So, okay. Well, again, on behalf of the Bureau of Reclamation, thank you for attending today's information session. Please go to usbr.gov/bill to view this and previous update sessions. Information is always available there and regularly updated. And we'd also call your attention to the frequently asked questions session as well. And you can also send your questions. We'll close with on the eve of Veterans Day. For those who have worn the cloth of our nation or supported those who do and have, thank you. Please take care.